My name is Ghostboy259 and I played Far Changing Tides. When I covered the first Far Lone Sales game earlier this year, many people commented you need to play the sequel. Admittedly, I was a little hesitant on the idea. I really loved the first game. I thought it was this short, tidy experience that told a beautiful story without a single word needing to be said. The idea of a sequel generally means you're expanding on what you've already created. Updated visuals, more world building, probably a little bit longer, but I didn't know what the right direction was. I didn't know if I necessarily wanted anything more, and I especially didn't want anything that erased part of the first game. You can get carried away and you can have too much, or you can deliver the exact same experience, kind of rendering the whole thing pointless. Visually, the game is absolutely stunning. They knocked it out of the park for a second time, and they did so in a way that doesn't diminish the beauty of the first game at all, which is surprisingly difficult. They did choose to build out more of the world. I can't say I'm either here nor there on it, but the presentation of these new additions was so impressive. I didn't care if I liked it or not. I just enjoyed experiencing it. And while the game was longer and it had a lot of echoes of the original, it wasn't exactly the same as the original. It still felt new. There was a lot of discovery to be had. If you haven't watched my video on the first game of this series, it's on my channel. If you want to watch me play that game or this game on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/realityescapeplays. If you want to be in my chat and join me live while I'm streaming these games, I stream at twitch.tv/ghostboy259. And if you want to join our Discord or just help support this channel financially to keep this series going, all the links are at realityescape.ca. And hey, while you're here, you might as well subscribe for a video every week on a game you've maybe never heard of. The biggest difference between the two games is that instead of a land vehicle, you're now in a boat, which also doubles as a submarine, meaning you have the view both above and below water. And it's truly fantastic when you think of the daunting task that nearly every location has to have both an over and underwater section modeled and designed, and a majority of players probably won't even go under the water unless it's necessary for progression just because it's harder to travel that way. The landscape above water is absolutely gorgeous to look at. I love anything dystopian with water surrounding it. I played quite a few of those games over my YouTube career, and I just love that the underwater doesn't feel completely blank and empty. They still made an effort to make sure there are things to look at, but it also doesn't feel too busy either. The vehicle operates more or less the same. You need to find garbage throughout the game and use it to fuel the machine. If it's windy, you can open the sails, which instead of opening up and down, they now go left to right and up to the side, meaning the sails can crash into things if you're too close. Although there's no visual indication on when that's going to happen, you just kind of have to look ahead, and if you think something could potentially hit, you have to move out of the way. The perspective can be a little off-putting, but it does change the game a bit. The game leans a lot less towards the mechanics of survival and more towards the little puzzles in between. At no point in the game did I ever feel like I was in danger of the boat being destroyed or that I was panicking for repairs. Instead, I was mostly just worried about not having enough energy to move the boat forward, as when you're under the water, you can't use a sail and you have no hook to drag yourself along like you did in the last game. There is a radar that goes off that tells you when fuel sources are near, and I probably missed a good chunk and still managed to be fine, but you can never be too cautious because I really don't know what happens if you run out. The puzzles remind me quite a bit of the first. I wouldn't say anything is particularly hard to execute or to figure out. I think I only got stuck on 2 for an extended period of time, which I imagine most people did, and it's mostly because the puzzles are usually something you've never done before. It's not a puzzle game like, say, Portal, where you know what the gun does and what the portals do, and your job is to fill in the blanks. The puzzle here is learn what this thing is and how it works, so naturally it will take some time. There's quite a bit of walking and swimming outside of the ship, which I don't mind at all. I think at its core, the game works best when you're not in the vehicle the entire time, because otherwise you're just doing the same things over and over again. And when in your vehicle, your time can be split from above and below water. And oftentimes it's completely your choice as to where you want to be sailing. While in the first game, there was definitely long stretches of gameplay where you're just vibing, looking at the beautiful sights, I would say that time is nearly doubled in this game. There's a few stretches that maybe last 5 minutes or longer where you're really just hanging out, enjoying the view, and I absolutely adore the music in this game. There's something about a flooded city with wind instruments and a horn playing in the background that really just gets me, but I was always hoping to hear the music just a little bit more. The game does such a good job at being atmospheric, and so it's hard to ask for more because that's how they take you in and out of moments. But they could have just put this on loop the entire game and I would have been enthralled. It's going straight to my writing playlist. If you're someone who always needs action or something to do, or if the game lulls for a bit, you're gonna scroll through Twitter on your phone, finding yourself getting bored at this stuff, this probably isn't for you, but I promise you, it's sometimes just worth it to have a nice tranquil moment of just traveling along the water. It's really hard not to compare this game to the first. They really complement each other so well. This feels like a proper upgrade where you can step right in after playing the first one and know what to do, and it makes the moments where they switch things up that much better. There's legitimate shock value the first time you go underwater. It's such a cool moment, and I love that kind of thing because it plays off of your expectations of the first one. I'm not going to get into spoilers in this video, but the ending of the game is genuinely brilliant. If you go back and watch the VOD, I start yelling when it happens, and I was super happy when I got there, and I kind of hope they never come back to this world or this concept ever again, because I think it ended perfectly as is. Ultimately, I believe these two games should be played as a set. While you can play one on your own, you can't simply play two without playing one first. A lot of my enjoyment came from knowledge of the first game, and you don't necessarily have to play them back to back. I think some time in between the games is good, so then the first one can really just sit and marinate with you. But if you commit to playing one, I think you should absolutely commit to playing this as well. Do I think it's as strong as the first? Maybe not, but I think it plays off the first well enough that it's the perfect companion piece to the game. It's similar enough that you can step right in and feel at home, but it's different enough that you want to see where it leads. There's overall less story with this game, but there's more lore and world building, but not too much that it doesn't take away from anything or ruin the mystery. They don't really tell you anything, they never did in the first one either, but they show off some things about ancient people, which I guess could be or could not be connected to the apocalypse, or maybe they could be the original people from this world, but it doesn't really get specific, and I personally hope it never does. This is definitely a game where I want everything to stay vague and just purely visual. I don't want any sort of explanation that could make me think about it or take me out of it. But the world is empty, the water can be a lot calmer, and your motivation's even less unclear than the first one. It's a game where you just have to commit to the idea and let yourself be taken for a ride, but don't expect the survival mechanics to be super intense or to be entertained at every second of this game. It is definitely more puzzle based, and the little things they constantly throw at you were enough for me to say, okay, I can't wait to see what they do next, let's keep going. But I also don't know if you get those moments without playing the first game. The first game was easy to finish once you started because it was so much shorter. This one, while only 2 hours longer, does require a little bit of trust, and I would hope that if you played the first one, then you can play the second one in good faith. When I first started the game, I unironically said, this game is so beautiful that even if it's bad, I still love it. And I do wonder if maybe that is carrying over a little bit, but reading reviews, it doesn't seem like anyone overall hated this game. And I will say the moments I experienced in this game and how they connected to the first one were super enjoyable. And I would recommend this duo of games to anyone who wants to experience something truly unique. But for now, my name is Ghostboy259, and I played Far Changing Sails. Next time, I'll play something else. Thanks for watching.